characteristics of standing Shoshyuten Kiko are a back that's straight, perhaps the chin will be slightly pulled back, the hips will be tilted slightly forward, especially when you exhale. The hips will move, your pelvis will tilt forward, you'll have a pelvic rotation this way. And other characteristics include, of course, the tongue being touches the roof of the mouth. An interesting one that you'll see very often in kata, in martial arts kata, in which you do Shoshyuten Kiko, you'll often see a knee bend posture with the toes in. This is very characteristic of kata in which Shoshyuten Kiko is stressed. For instance, we're doing now Naihanchi-dachi, and you can notice in the classical Naihanchi-dachi of Okinawan styles, the pelvis will most likely be rotated forward, especially on exhalation when you're doing certain techniques. The same goes true for Sanchin-dachi. In Sanchin-dachi, you can see that the knees again are bent, the toes are in, and the pelvis will tilt forward or rotate forward on the exhalation phase. Now, we'll explain a little bit about the reasons for all of these. Barb will come out, please. Okay. The first thing we have to consider is the path of Toku-myaku-kei. Okay. Toku-myaku-kei has to be relatively straight. In order to get Toku-myaku-kei relatively straight, you can see, because we're human, we have these nice little S curves in our spine. And that's great for suspension. We really need that in order to walk around every day and not have spine problems. But for Shoshyuten Kiko, we need the straightest path possible. If the path is straight, the ki moves more easily. So the way we're going to do that, please go Sanchin-dachi, please. Okay, tilt your butt back. Okay, see now she's still got her S curve. Now she's going to tilt her pelvis forward, and you can see that actually illuminates this curve. It makes this very straight. It takes away the lumbar curve. Okay, now she lifts her head forward like you normally would stand. Again, now you see this is a very sharp curve. She does a correct Sanchin-dachi, right? And again, now this curve has been lessened all of a sudden. So now we've straightened Toku-myaku-kei, which is excellent. We really are going to benefit in our Shoshyuten Kiko. Can you move back just a hair? Good. In our Shoshyuten Kiko, if the Toku-myaku-kei path is relatively straight. Okay, other characteristics. Again, when you do Sanchin kata, when you do Sanchin kata, and when you do Naihanchi kata, it's classical to have the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Again, this is for the Shoshyuten connection between Toku-myaku-kei and Nin-myaku-kei. It's very important. You'll also have, when she inhales, your abdomen will slightly fold. Go ahead. And this is going to help lead the ki to that area. Now, she's also going to let her pelvis tilt backwards. So what that's going to do is the abdomen blowing out guides the ki to the abdomen. The pelvis tilting back guides the ki around the pelvis. We're actually going to combine physical movement with the movement of the ki. They're going to move in a very similar path, a very similar way, and that's actually going to help guide the ki. So now what we're going to do is we're going to visualize the ki moving with the body motion. So as she inhales now, this moves out and then the pelvis tilts back. Now as she exhales, the pelvis will tilt forward and she'll pull her anus up and her urogenital diaphragm up, and she'll tilt this forward, which will lead the ki upwards up Toku-myaku-kei. So she's going to do it one more time, please. So she's lifting her anus, tilting this forward, and exhaling all at the same time. And that's really going to help lead the ki up. Okay? In classical Okinawan, thank you very much. In classical Okinawan arts, it's believed that lifting the anus or the urogenital diaphragm or both will actually help lift the ki up, will force the ki up. So when she pulls the anus up and she tilts her hips forward and keeps the back straight and exhales all at the same time, we're forcing or guiding, but we're actually guiding the ki upwards. The lifting of the anus helps guide an upward motion. It creates an upward motion for the ki. It guides forward. Same thing with the pelvis tilting forward. You can think of it almost as a pump. You're actually pumping forcing, we're guiding the ki upward. And then, again, the neck being straight helps it flow smoothly. The tongue makes the connection. And again, now as she inhales, the abdomen going out guides the ki, guides it very nicely to the tanden. It's slight, very, very slight rotation of the pelvis backwards creates a guide for the ki to move back around this way, either to Governor 1 or Governor 4. So, Sanchin kata and Naihanchi kata both have all of those characteristics, and both of those kata help to guide the ki along Shoshyuten very easily, guided along the Governor vessel and the conception vessel in a smooth cycle. So both of those kata were actually designed to make this type of a Kiko practice very easy. When the kata framers created the stances associated with the kata and hip motions associated with the kata, the fact that they stressed the tongue needs to be on the roof of the mouth and the breath has to be coordinated with the movement, they were actually designing the kata to be worked with Shoshyuten. So everybody, virtually everybody that does karate is doing already the fundamentals that they need for this type of Kiko. Their kata are designed to allow them to do this type of Kiko very efficiently.